how to compare with as and not as. Hello guys, my name is Josh. Welcome to English Speaking 360. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps me. Today I will show you how to use as and not as, but there is something you should know. The first part of the video is about adjectives, so it's very easy. However, you should stick around because the second part of the video is about how to use adverbs in those two structures, and that is actually very hard. And of course, as usual, don't miss the final quiz. Let's get started. As adjective as. This structure is used when we want to say that two people or two things are the same. Here's an example for you. Josh is cool. Of course, everybody knows that. And Sarah is cool too. So, if you want to put that into one sentence, comparing the two people, Josh and Sarah, you will say, Josh is as cool as Sarah. As cool as adjective as. Watch out here. You need to use the verb to be because with an adjective, we always use the verb to be. So Josh is as cool as Sarah. I am as cool as you. You cannot say Josh as cool as Sarah. It does not work. You must have the verb to be. One more thing. Sometimes you may hear this. Josh is as cool as Sarah is. The is here is the auxiliary verb be that is reused at the end of the sentence. However, it is optional. So you can say Josh is as cool as Sarah is, or Josh is as cool as Sarah. Both sentences are correct. Here's another example. Rich. Josh is rich. Sarah is rich. Now you should be able to make the sentence. You can say Josh is as rich as Sarah. But you can also say Sarah is as rich as Josh. It does not matter if you switch the two subjects around. The meaning is the same because they are equally rich. Not as adjective as. This is the second structure here. We use this when we want to say that one person is less than the other. Here's an example. Josh is active. Sarah is less active. So you see here, one person is less something than the other. One person is less active than the other. In that case, we cannot say Josh is as active as Sarah. It doesn't make sense because they are not at the same level. But we can say Sarah is not as active as Josh, or Sarah is not as active as Josh is. Here, once again, don't forget, whenever you use an adjective like active, you must use the verb to be. And of course, like we said before, the is optional. Now, Sarah is not as active as Josh. What does it mean? It means that Sarah is less active than Josh. So Sarah is less. That's important. Keep that in mind. Josh is more active than Sarah. Definitely. So Josh is more. So remember this here. Super important. The first person or the first subject in your sentence is less adjective. So in this case, the first person is less active than the other person. The second person, in this case Josh, is more the second person is more active than the first person. If you switch the two subjects around, the meaning becomes the opposite. So if you say Josh is not as active as Sarah, it means that Josh is less active than Sarah and Sarah is more active than Josh. Here's one more example. Josh is tired. Sarah is not so tired. So now remember, the person that is less is first. So in this case, who is less tired? Sarah is less tired. So you will begin with Sarah. Sarah is not as tired as Josh is. Don't forget to use the verb to be, and once again, is optional. Sarah is not as tired as Josh. Sarah is not as tired as Josh. What does it mean exactly? It means Sarah is less tired than Josh. Once again, the first person is less. So in this case, Sarah is less tired than Josh. And Josh is more tired than Sarah because the second person is more. That is the key concept here, so try to remember it. And now, the difficult part. As, adverb, as. What is an adverb? Actually, many adverbs end in ly. Quickly, slowly, easily, quietly, and many more. But some adverbs don't end in ly. Fast, hard, well, late, often, and many more too. So now we're going to deal with these words in comparisons. Let me show you how it works. Verb as, adverb as. We use this structure to show that two people do something the same way. Now, if you remember, as, adjective as, we were comparing two people or two things. But with this structure, we are comparing how people do something. So we are comparing how an action is done. Here's an example. Josh drives carefully. You see here. How does Josh drive? He drives carefully. That's how he does it. And Sarah drives carefully too. They are driving equally carefully. So they are driving the same way. So how do we make the sentence? We make it like this. Josh drives as carefully as Sarah. Or Josh drives as carefully as Sarah does. For this structure, you need to use an action verb, not the verb to be. You need an action verb. In this case, we have the verb drive. So Josh drives. That's your action. But how is the action done? Carefully. That is your adverb. It adds more information about the verb, drive. What is does? Does is the auxiliary. If you're not sure how to find the auxiliary, change the sentence into a negative sentence. Josh doesn't drive. Doesn't. So does is your auxiliary here. So that's why we use does at the end here. However, remember, it is optional. So you can say Josh drives as carefully as Sarah. Or Josh drives as carefully as Sarah does. Here's another example. Josh runs fast. And Sarah runs fast. That should be easy for you now. Let's make the sentence. You can say, Josh runs as fast as Sarah. Or you can also say, Sarah runs as fast as Josh. The subject order in this case does not matter because they are doing it the same way. Fast. So here we have the action verb runs, the adverb fast. I know many of you will say, but teacher, fast is an adjective. It can be an adjective, but in this case, it is an adverb because it gives more information about a verb. And remember, we never say fastly. It's not a word in English. The adverb is fast. And finally, the optional auxiliary. Josh runs as fast as Sarah, or Josh runs as fast as Sarah does. Let's try with the negative structure now, much more complex. We use this structure when we want to say that two people don't do something the same way. So we're also talking about an action, but that is not done in the same manner. For example, I eat fast, but you eat slowly. So the action is the same, the action of eating something, but I do it fast and you do it slowly. Can you make the sentence? It's a lot harder, isn't it? Here's how we do it. You do not eat as fast as I do. Here, you need the auxiliary, not, and the action verb together. You do not eat. Of course, you can use the contraction. You don't eat as fast as I do. Fast is your adverb. And finally, we have the auxiliary, do. Here, the do is quite necessary because you can say, you do not eat as fast as I. But that is super formal. That's kind of an old way of talking. So I don't want you to do it. But you don't eat as fast as I do is very common. However, maybe you say, but teacher, how about me? You don't eat as fast as me. Yes, we hear that very often, and that is informal English, casual English. You may use it, but the best way is you don't eat as fast as I do. You do not eat as fast as I do. What is the meaning? It means you eat slower or less fast than I do. So here, the first person does it less. So the first person is you. You do it. What is it? It is eat. You eat less fast than I do. And of course, I eat faster or more fast than you do. So the second person does it more. The second person does it more fast. So I eat more fast than you. So that's why the you is first and the I is last. But maybe you wonder, what if we use slowly? You can also use the opposite adverb. There's no problem. You can say, I do not eat as slowly as you do. Here, we have the auxiliary, the not, and the action verb. We also have the adverb, slowly, and the auxiliary, do, at the end. It is possible to say, I don't eat as slowly as you. You may hear that sometimes, but it's much more casual than saying, I don't eat as slowly as you do. What is the meaning of I don't eat as slowly as you do? It means I eat faster. I eat less slowly than you do. So we keep the same idea here. The first person does it less. It also means you eat slower or more slowly than I do. The second person does it more slowly, so you do it more slowly than I do. Here's a quick recap for you. You do not eat as fast as I do, but you can also say, I do not eat as slowly as you do. We have switched around the two subjects, but we are also using the opposite adverb to keep the same meaning. I think you need one more example. Josh sings well. Sarah sings badly. Can you make the sentence? Try to use the adverb well first. Remember that the first person does it less well. So start with Sarah. Sarah does not sing as well as Josh. Here we have the action verb sing plus the auxiliary and not. Well is your adverb and does is optional. What does it mean? Sarah does not sing as well as Josh. It means that Sarah sings worse or less well than Josh. So the first person does it less well. Sarah sings less well than Josh. And the second person is Josh. Josh sings better or more well than Sarah. But we never say more well. So Josh sings better than Sarah. Josh does it at a higher level. Here's a summary for you because I know it's not easy at all. So first you have to ask yourself, what are you comparing? So if you're comparing people or things and they are at the same level, at the same degree, you can say Josh is as rich as Sarah. So it means Josh and Sarah are equally rich. If the level is different, one person is less than the other, you can use this one. Josh is not as rich as Sarah. Josh is less rich than Sarah. If you're comparing actions that are at the same degree, so they're done the same way, you can say Josh drives as carefully as Sarah. Josh and Sarah drive equally carefully. But if you're comparing actions and one person does it less than the other, you can say Josh doesn't drive as carefully as Sarah. Josh drives less carefully than Sarah. Take a screenshot. This is super useful. And now it's quiz time. Are you ready? You have to show me what you can do. Sarah plays well. Josh plays well. They are equal. Now you have to make the sentence. So start like this. Sarah plays the guitar. What is your answer? Are you ready? Sarah plays the guitar as well as Josh, or as well as Josh does. 1 point. Question 2. Sarah, angry. Josh, less angry. So Sarah is more. In this case, you will start with the person that is less. Josh is less. So Josh is what? Josh is not as angry as Sarah. Or Josh is not as angry as Sarah is. Question 3. Josh works hard. Sarah, not so much. So start with the person who works less. In this case, it is Sarah. Can you make the sentence? Sarah does not work as hard as Josh. Or Sarah does not work as hard as Josh does. Both options are equally fine. 1 point. Question 4. Sarah, organized. Josh, organized. So they are equal. Start like this. Sarah is, this one is super easy. Sarah is as organized as Josh. Or Sarah is as organized as Josh is. Question 5. Josh exercises often. Sarah exercises often. They are equal. But here, remember, you are comparing two actions. So you're going to have to use the adverb often. Let's start the sentence with Josh. Are you ready? Josh exercises as often as Sarah. Josh exercises as often as Sarah does. Oh, this was a tough lesson, wasn't it? I know you need extra practice. Go to my website, EnglishSpeaking360.com. There are many more activities for you to practice, and you can become excellent at making comparisons with as, and not as. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.